Hi guys, I'm Brooke and I travel full-time in my Coleman Pop Up with my dog Pippa, and today we are going to talk about the thing that I get asked the most about traveling full-time is, doesn't paying for campsites all the time get expensive? And no, because I 99.99999% of the time do not pay for camping at all. And this has been something that I have been doing since August of 2020 when I first got on the road in my Class C. Between having a Class C and then traveling in my Honda CRV for over a year and a half, and then being now in the pop-up, nothing has changed. You can find free camping out west pretty easily, and I am going to show you how to do it. Now, this video is for beginners. I know that there is a lot of other resources and things that you can do to get more privacy and to be away from people in the backcountry and things like that, but this is not that kind of video. This video is for beginners who are wanting to try out boondocking or free camping for the very first time. This is not for somebody who has been doing it forever and is looking for like new secluded spots. These spots on these apps that I'm going to recommend and the ways to find them are very populated. There are lots of other campers there. You just get more space than you would if you were in a campground all lined up like sardines. Which brings me to the first point of why you should even try free camping, is that you get to spread out a little bit more. Even in some of the most popular camping areas that are very full, you still get more privacy than you would in a traditional campground. But you have to remember, there are no amenities at these areas. There's a reason they are free. I'm not saying that you can't find gems out there that do have some amenities, but you need to assume when you show up, there is no water, there is no trash service, there are no bathrooms, there are no showers, there may not even be good cell phone service. That is why a lot of people choose not to utilize boondocking or free camping, because they like their amenities, and I don't blame you. Since I've been in the pop-up, I like to take advantage of that electricity, those on-site showers, that on-site laundry, and you know, those convenience stores if you forget something. But at the end of the day, you're going to get so many better cool views and find these little gems of little towns and places if you are boondocking even more. And I have so many that I go back to over and over and over again because I just love them so much. So I think this is something you should definitely try if you haven't already. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, is the fact that this is more readily available out west. Does that mean that you cannot find any free camping that isn't a Walmart, isn't a truck stop, or isn't a rest area out east? No, you can definitely find some of these, but you just have to search really hard. But there is just more land and more space out west. I will say, the over 2 years now that I have been on the road, I have stayed overnight in a Walmart, a rest area, a truck stop, etc. less than 10 times. I don't prefer them. I don't like them. I do this free camping kind of boondocking as my full-time first choice. Does that mean that I haven't had to do those when I've done longer drive days or I just couldn't find somewhere? Yes, they're always a good backup option. There's kind of lately been this thing that's gone around social media saying that it's all Walmarts, it's all rest areas. You can't actually find those good views that people are putting online. And I think those are probably people who are trying to stay on the East Coast, or they are trying to stay in cities to hold down a job, which is totally fine. But the rest of us who work remotely and can travel at our leisure, that is why the majority of the van life culture and travel culture is out west. There's just more free space that we can all spread out and hang out and have really good views all the time. I want to reiterate again that you're usually not alone. I know when I first started doing research on getting on the road and people would talk about boondocking, I had dreams of spreading out in a field all alone, being alone in the desert, being able to just shower outside, walk around naked, do all these crazy things, and that is not the case. Especially if you have cell phone service, everybody knows about that area. You are not the first person to try to find free camping. because this isn't the backcountry. Like I said, if there is a road that's accessible by 2-wheel drive, you are going to have neighbors. Does that mean that those neighbors are going to be right next to you? Probably not, but you're not going to be completely alone out there in the woods, just like left to your own devices. There are people that are also camping around you, looking for that just more relaxed style of camping instead of having to follow all the rules and regulations of campgrounds, or they just maybe don't like being around that many people, and I totally get that part of it. But that also doesn't mean that there are no rules around these areas. Most of them are federally owned land, so you have to still follow the rules, and I did an entire video about that and I'll link it up above. It's up to you to treat the land properly. Because they are free, they don't have a ton of resources for Forest Service or other organizations to come through and clean up after you. One, it's really rude to litter and destroy something that is free to you and available. Obviously, we've seen over the years they've closed certain areas that are super popular because people can just not clean up after themselves and follow the rules. So that is part of it as well. Everything you bring into these areas, you have to leave with it. That's that pack in, pack out that you hear sometimes when people are talking about it, because it is up to all of us to keep these places free and self-regulate them. We are technically paying for these lands with our tax dollars, so you should treat it just like you would your own backyard and clean it up. If you're one of the people who doesn't care and just wants to trash every place that you come around and don't want to follow the rules, I guarantee you your neighbors aren't going to like you too much, and there are still fines and fees that you can get charged with, even tickets that Forest Service can get out, and I guarantee you eventually someone will tell on you. Okay, so now let's look into how we actually find these spots. I know there is also this kind of gatekeeping community, especially on TikTok and Instagram for some reason, while people won't tag their campsites or locations. And I think people think it's because they are trying to hide where these locations are. But it's more so, I think, because of the safety of whoever that creator is. They just don't want to tag where they are in real time, which I totally agree. And there are some people who get very protective of their favorite spots. I am one of those people. I generally do not give out the areas that I am frequenting because I go back to them so often. For safety reasons, because I'm going back all the time, I don't want everyone to know a list of like my top 5 places you can find me, basically. So fortunately, there are people online that have blogs and YouTube channel where that is their whole job, where they review these boondocking locations. So I would say if you are going to a certain area and you say Flagstaff boondocking, or Flagstaff free camping, and type it into Google or type it into YouTube, you will find a list of places. That's one way that I think a lot of people forget to mention, is that we can all use each other who create content to find those places. Now, is that going to be an exhaustive, complete list? No, but it is a good first-hand experience of that person to see if they felt safe, what's around it, you know, things like that. If you're looking at a specific area, if you're like free camping around Yellowstone or something like that, where you want reviews specifically on a certain area that you know that you're going to, I would generally check out other creators' work and the time they've put into reviewing those areas. Now, if you have looked through all of that but you just want something else, I use the app Campendium the most, because I first started in an RV and now have a camper. Because a lot of people specifically mention their rig size on Campendium. Campendium seems to be more of an RV based camping app, and there are other paid camping that is mentioned on Campendium, and you can sort it by price. So even if you maybe can't find free camping in an area, but you want something that's like a state park or something that's a little bit lower, or donation based or something like that, that is a great resource to find on Campendium. It is my favorite. It's what I use almost exclusively because I started in an RV and I needed to be able to see if my RV would fit into some of those places. And now with the camper, I need a little bit more information than what some of the other resources provide. The other app that's super popular with car dwellers and van lifers is iOverlander. So iOverlander is just all user based, but there is so much more resources on iOverlander than there is on Campendium. So if you were looking not only for free camping, but you're also looking for water, laundromats, showers, etc., that is what I use personally, iOverlander, for the most, because it is very van life, SUV life, car dwelling based. If you do have an RV or a bigger rig, like a bus or something that is, you know, 40 feet or like a long one, and you need to know if you can go to some of those places on iOverlander, I would just cross-reference them with maybe other apps or go on like Google Satellite or something and check the area, because I do find that there is a lack of comments or reviews on a lot of the sites on there. A lot of the time somebody kind of just pins something and that's the only review, and people don't like keep up with it as much as they do over on Campendium. Another reason I like to use Campendium is because they also have a specific portion to where the people who leave the reviews can say how much cell phone coverage they have, and I really like to look at that. And you can also overlay your cell phone provider map over top of the camping areas that you're looking at on Campendium. So I just tend to use that more because I work remotely. I need service to be able to upload videos. Unfortunately, I don't have Starlink yet or something cool, so I have to rely solely on my T-Mobile hotspots and my cell data. So I just use those maps to be able to figure out if I'm going to have anything. I tend not to go places where I don't have any cell phone service because I like to be able to camp for the full time that's allowed, whether that's 7 days, 14 days, etc. I want to be able to go somewhere, set everything up, and then be able to work from that area as well and not have to move around chasing cell service all the time. I am going to link a few other videos I did on free camping and boondocking below so you guys can see some other thoughts I have on it, but I just wanted to make an updated video of how to find free camping since I do frequently get questions about it, and I have a lot more subscribers than I had when I first made those videos. So I just wanted to bring that back up so you guys can get back up to speed, especially if you want to do any fall camping. The weather's turning, and in a lot of areas it's going to be the perfect time to try out boondocking. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!